Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching the first 13 episodes of Shaman King, a remake of the 2001 anime that happens to give us the fun shonen action that you'd expect, though probably from an animation studio that will probably make it a mixed reception when it comes to the actual fights. Let's get to the story though, shall we? The story, much like the original 2001 series, follows Yo Asakura, a young shaman who wishes to have a nice, calm, relaxing life alongside his samurai friend after he ends up befriending a young child who's in cram school named Monta. He ends up being involved in the Shaman King tournament to find out who's going to end up ruling the world by infusing themselves with the Great Spirit, and this tournament apparently happens every 500 years. Well, that's all I'll say about the story without spoiling anything. The story here is very much from what I've heard, it's a pretty faithful adaptation of the original manga. And a lot of the characters even have their original voice actors, at least in the Japanese version, returning to reprise their roles. On top of that, one thing that I really liked about this series, even though I'm more familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh! In the past than I was with Shaman King, is the fact that I appreciate that the studio happened to update its character designs for the 2021 version. Not to say that the character designs in the original series were bad, it's just that some of them don't really hold up to today's standards. And these ones not only have a bit more detail to them, but they also happen to work well in the Studio Bones way, where they happen to look nice, detailed, and very cool for the action scenes, and also can play a bit loose for the comedy scenes. On top of that, I really like how diverse the cast is without them shoving that in our faces. You, of course, got our typical Japanese heroes like Yo, Monta, Anna, and so forth, but you've also got characters like Hao Ren, the main rival, who's a Chinese boy, and we get a cool arc with him and his family. You've got another one of the fighters, Faust the Eighth, who's this cool German guy. Horo, who's basically this Ainu boy with a snowboard. I can safely say I've never seen that before. And there's a ton of other interesting characters who look like they'll have some really cool fights and cool character moments in the later parts of the series. It's definitely a show where you can have a ton of different favorites that aren't just the protagonist, which is something I appreciate when it comes to these long-running shonen series. However, the fights might be a sticking point for many. This anime was done by Studio Bridge, who previously did the final season of Fairy Tail, so the fight scenes don't exactly have the same level of polish or choreographed nature of, say, My Hero Academia or Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer. But I do think the designs are very nice, the effects are pretty cool, and the series does have a lot of cool moments when it comes to the actual stories of the fights. On top of that, the series has a pretty good opening and a pretty good ending theme that happen to really highlight the show's sense of style, which is very early 2000s when it comes down to it, but that's part of what I like about it. Granted, the story is far from over. There's still 39 episodes left to release, and we've only gotten the first 13. But as far as remakes go, I'm glad I saw it. That's why I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for now. See you later.